I can't be a part of this.
Then what can you be a part of?
No! No!
The Man of Steel needs no introduction, whether we're talking about his morals or his powers. However, for a superhero to be remembered, he also needs to overcome his struggles, and Clark Kent has definitely dealt with a lot of stress.
Every boy's special lady is his mother. Punishment for witches, what is that? That's right, death by fire.
Now, we all know I'm a total Superman fanboy, but it's also important to understand why he gets to flex the way he does.
You were never a god. You were never even a man.
So today the TV Regent is turning the tables and giving you the top moments when Superman got flexed on in the movies. Like, share and subscribe, otherwise I'm going to send Michael Scott to lecture you on the importance of turntables.
Civil liberties are being trampled on in your city. Good people living in fear.
Don't believe everything you hear, son.
Most of the world doesn't share your opinion, Mr. Wayne.
Maybe it's the Gotham City in me, and we just have a bad history with freaks dressed like clowns.
I've always been quite hard on Ben Affleck, but I can't help it. The man is an endless meme in himself, and he's given the internet way too much content for anyone to ignore. However, while his stint as the DCEU Batman didn't exactly set the world on fire, he did give it his best shot, especially in this scene over here. I know the movie's called Batman vs Superman, but in this case, it's Bruce Wayne versus Clark Kent.
Who's that?
You must be new to the Let Them Eat Cake beat. That is Bruce Wayne.
I've never really been a fan of backhanded conversations, but I'm willing to make an exception this time because, damn, there are some seriously savage burns here.
Daily Planet. Wait, do I own this one? Or is that the other guy?
And I'm not talking about the laser eye kind. I'm not going to get into the details of what's actually being said between our beloved heroes, but just look at Ben Affleck's expressions here. They're doing most of the work. Even someone as mighty as the Man of Steel has to accept the fact that he's been bested in a fascinating war of words.
Considering every time your hero saves a cat out of a tree, you write a puff-piece editorial about an alien who, if he wanted to, could burn the whole place down.
There are a lot of takeaways from the back and forth in this conversation, and I know you have your favourites, like the one where Batman calls out the Daily Planet's double standard with Superman. The one that stands out to me, though, has got to be when Bruce says,
We just have a bad history with freaks dressed like clowns.
Bro just roasted Superman's office and outfit in a couple of lines.
Pleasure. Ow! Wow, that is a good grip. Not pick a fight with this person.
Don't touch that. I told you.
I have to leave you now. No hard feelings. We all have our little faults.
This is one of the rare incidents where Lex Luthor has the upper hand over Superman and has also got a full head of hair. At first, even I was like, why on earth is this guy being so calm? Doesn't he know that the Man of Steel can crush him without even blinking an eye?
That's kryptonite, Superman. Little souvenir from the old hometown. I've spared no expense to make you feel right at home.
But just like the rest of the audience, I had no idea the villain thought so well ahead of time that he tricked Superman into exposing himself to the kryptonite necklace.
Mind over muscle.
I mean, in hindsight, I guess Kal-El could have taken a couple of seconds to assess the situation, but even superheroes can make mistakes, and in the wise words of DJ Khaled,
congratulations, you played yourself.
In all fairness, you got to give Lex Luthor his due credit here, because he used all that multi-level intelligence to place the perfect trap and outwit Superman. The way he toys around with the Man of Steel is possibly the greatest flex a human could ever pull over DC's most overpowered superhero, perhaps for Lois Lane maybe. I'm sure she's got a couple of ways to make Clark Kent submit to her, eh?
Who is it, Superman?
Lex Luthor, the greatest criminal mind of our time.
Of our time?
I hereby serve notice.
He's serving notice to you.
That these walls
here.
Will you shut up, please, you?
All right. Zord. I can't be a part of this.
Then what can you be a part of?
No! No!
We don't really mention him as much as we should, but General Zod truly is a benchmark when it comes to elite level villains. His comic book version is ridiculously powerful. His 2013 live action version is brilliantly played by Michael Shannon, and even if you snap his neck, he simply comes back as Doomsday. There's just no way he can lose, can he? The first proper interaction between Superman and Zod was a one-way street, and not in a good way.
I take it you're Zod?
General Zod.
It was bad enough that Kal-El couldn't adapt to the alien atmosphere around him, but then Zod went a couple of steps further with his epic speech.
So that Krypton can live again. On Earth.
this is not a debate or a physical fight. It's the villain explaining his plan in an ominous fashion, while the hero is simply powerless and, quite frankly, looks about as useful as a lifeguard at the Olympic swimming contest. The best part is the writing here though, because Zod's response to Superman saying he can't join him wasn't just a rhetorical insult, but also a declaration of superiority. Yeah, that man definitely knew he had the upper hand there.
Your father acquitted himself with honor, Cal.
You killed him.
I did. But if I had to do it again, I would.
I think you will fight for that special lady in your life.
She's safe on the ground. How about you?
But I am not talking about Lois. Every boy's special lady is his mother. Punishment for witches, what is that? That's right, death by fire.
Here's Lex Luthor again, but the crazy one played by Facebook's very own Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, Jesse Eisenberg.
The shortest distance between any 2 points is a straight path. And I believe the straightest path to Superman is a pretty little road.
Say what you will about the way he portrayed his character, you just can't ignore the moment where Lex has Superman on his knees over Martha's kidnapping.
Martha. Well, the mother of a flying demon must be a witch.
Bro mentioned the importance of a mother and went on to use her as leverage right after. I mean, it takes a special kind of evil to get the Man of Steel bowing down to your plan, and that's exactly what the crazed billionaire does right here. The dude even starts his speech by calling Superman a fraud.
They need to see the fraud you are. With their eyes. The blood on your hand.
And that's just plain rude. To top it off, he simply throws Martha's photos on the floor so that Kal-El can pick it up and sob like a little baby.
I don't know! I would not let them tell me! Now,
I know this is brutal and dismissive, but it is still a flex, isn't it? And it's a pretty damn good one too. See, this is the thing about Batman vs Superman. There are occasional glimpses of brilliance, but they're mostly undone by the overall plot, which is just too many holes to cover. I mean, if Lex was played by a more dynamic actor like, say, Michael Fassbender, he would have jumped straight up to my top 3. Like, share and subscribe if you want to hear more of my casting choices. I'm something of a perfectionist myself.
Excuse me, sir. I think you're sitting in my seat.
Your seat's in there for us.
I said, excuse me, sir. Would you care to step outside? After you. My bud.
If I told you that there's a scene where a normal human bullies freaking Superman as if he's a teenage dork, would you believe me? Well, if you're Gen Z, then probably not. But check out the OG film sequel that came out in 1980.
Gee, I think perhaps somebody ought to teach you some manners, sir.
Boy, you just don't have enough sense to stay down, do you?
It's nowhere close to the original, but it's definitely better than whatever the heck Superman 3 and 4 were supposed to be. Krypton's favorite son loses his powers and is ripped a new one by a random bully in a diner. Look, Christopher Reeves was a tall man, and I'm sure nobody wanted to mess with him in real life, but in this case, he's thrown around and seems completely useless. I gotta say, this must have been so embarrassing for Clark Kent that even Kanye West's VMA moment with Taylor Swift looks just subtle in comparison.
But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
Luckily, this hindrance didn't last too long, but damn, just imagine being compared to a god at one point, and now you're getting beaten up by some dude who likes to shout at waitresses.
It's over! It's over! Let it out!
I don't like your beat anyway.
Oh, God.
Trained my entire life to master my senses. Where did you train? On a farm?
Yep, he's back again, and this time he's in the middle of the epic final battle with Superman. I gotta say, this is one of the rare times when I feel like the newer actor has done better than the original, but that's obviously no shade to the very talented Terrence Stamp. As you know, this is mostly a CGI spectacle, but I'm gonna shout out the script writing once again because of this particular line from Zord.
I was bred to be a warrior, Cal. Where did you train? On a farm?
Chill, dude, show the man some mercy, you know, he is from the same planet. This is very obviously a flex from the overpowered Kryptonian general, but he also throws shade at Kal-El by taunting his upbringing. If you ask me, people who are brought up on farms are pretty damn strong, you know.
I'm going to make them suffer, Cal. These humans you've adopted, I will take them all from you one by one.
But that's only when you consider humans. I mean, he's only been in one movie, but I think Zord might actually be the DCEU's sassiest villain. Now, before you call me out in the comments, just remember that Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix are not DCEU Jokers. Also, Harley Quinn might be cute, but she's more psychotic than savage, if you know what I mean.
I will find him, Lara.
I will find him!
You must have been thinking, where was this one?
Tell me. Do you bleed? You will.
The moment was definitely a highlight from the film, and it deserves all the praise it gets, whether it's from critics or some basic kid on TikTok. Come to think of it, I should really reevaluate my opinion on Batfleck, you know? Bro was definitely done dirty after Christian Bale's epic trilogy. Yeah, all those memes are finally starting to make sense now.
Breathe it in. That's fear. You're not brave. Men are brave.
But don't worry, Ben, we still love you. Well, mostly. Well, at least he got to boss Superman around for a decent chunk of screen time. Whether it's him challenging Clark's manliness or straight up sparing his life at the very last moment, there's no denying the fact that this movie was always in Batman's favor. Can you even imagine how much of a flex it is to say that you let Superman live? Yeah, sure, Kal-El makes the big sacrifice in the end, but it's nice to know that you can dominate the Man of Steel, as long as you have billions of dollars in the bank though.
I bet your parents taught you that you mean something. That you're here for a reason. My parents taught me a different lesson. Dying in the gutter for no reason at all. They taught me the world only makes sense if you force it to.
You're asking yourself, didn't your dad ever teach you to laugh before you leap?
Now fly.
If I could put this movie at the top spot for standard Superman flexes, then you can be sure that I'll do the same thing when the roles are reversed. Kevin Spacey might not be remembered for all the right reasons, but Lex Luthor is a character he plays in Superman Returns, and I'm only going to focus on him.
Tonight.
To have your own Kryptonite Island is a boss move in itself, but to beat up the Man of Steel, as if he's the man of plastic, is an added touch of dominance.
Crystals, they're amazing, aren't they? They inherit the traits of the minerals around them, kind of like a son inheriting the traits of his father.
People really need to start appreciating this movie more because it's got amazing depth and nicely directed visuals. I mean, this scene perfectly captures the sheer hopelessness of the situation as Kal-El's reduced to a punching bag, not just for Lex, but for his goons too. It lands on the top of my list not just because the villain assumes superiority, but because it's the sorriest I've ever actually felt for Superman.
So long, Superman.
And there you go, that's my list. Let me know if you like this kind of content and I'll see what else I can cover. Like, share and subscribe for regular updates and hit the bell icon for notifications. Patreon and socials are in the links in the description below, so make sure you check them out. Alright then, I'll see you next time on the TV Regent.